Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Atlanta SEO for Local Businesses Meetup. I'm 𝗪𝗱 𝗪𝗍𝗵, and with me today is Andy Simpson, our co-organizer. He's in the background there with us. Thank you, Andy. We have our meetups the second Wednesday of the month at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Our next meetup will be November the 9th. Videos are going to be on YouTube. I'd like to try to get them up but Fridays after it, but this week it might be a little bit slow because of the hurricane. We've also got our Facebook group and our meetup. I'm going to put those links in the chat so you guys can all have them. Make sure that you're following us on YouTube so that you know when we post those new videos if you miss one of our months. So today I want to welcome David Zimmerman. And he has been doing SEO for over 14 years. And David, I've known him for, I don't remember how many years I've known David. We met at
five-ish,
somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere
it's pre-pandemic at least.
Yes, absolutely. Because we were, I don't know if I know we met at one of the SEO meetup or WordCamps. Not sure which one we actually met at, if it was Atlanta.
US, the first time it was in Nashville. We went out to dinner with Steve Schwartz and a couple other locals.
Okay, so then it was US.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought we met at one of the Southeast WordCamps.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, David has started helping others learn SEO from all of his awesome experience. And I am actually in his Curious Ants group that he helps kind of teach people a lot more about SEO. So I'm going to turn things over to David so he can talk to us today about what Bing Webmaster Tools.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Glad you're here. We're going to talk about using a strange search engine that you might not have ever heard of called Bing, and how to use Bing to rank on Google. I'm just kind of tongue-in-cheek with this. Really, we're going to get into Bing Webmaster Tools. With Bing Webmaster Tools was one of those things that I was for years like, yeah, I probably should just go ahead and put it on, verify my site with it. And the other day I was like, okay, I did it. And I was like, suddenly, wow, there's a ton of information in here. And like, it's so useful. I mean, forget about trying to rank on Bing. You can use it for Google. Like, it's giving you information that Google won't. And that's what's wonderful about it. I guess my big argument today here is, especially if you're getting started in SEO, before you start dropping chunks of change on big, expensive SEO tools, use the free ones at your disposal, right? Like there's a ton of data in Google Search Console that is amazing. There's a lot of great data in Google Analytics that you can use to help your SEO efforts. And let's not forget about Bing Webmaster Tools. We're going to walk through that today. So let's get started. I'm going to, all right. So whenever I talk about SEO, because SEO is kind of one of these almost buzzwordy things, I always want to make a point of saying, let's define what we're talking about. SEO is basically getting found by our customers in the search engines, right? We're not talking about email marketing. We're not talking about social media marketing. We're not even talking about paid search, paid clicks. We're talking about organically being found by customers looking for us. Now, there are 4 elements to every SEO campaign that we need to remember. The first one is we need to measure it. This is not just unique to SEO, but one of the powers of any digital marketing is that we should know, for the time and money we put into it, we should know exactly how much we're making from our efforts. This is the power of why we do this and don't put a bunch of money into billboards and bus stops and television ads, hoping that our customers find us. We should know exactly how much money we make from whatever effort, whether it's SEO or other digital marketing things. The first thing we do in everything is measure it. When we talk about SEO, The second thing we need to do is, can the search engines crawl our website? And when they crawl, what do they find? Right now, a lot of us use WordPress. I think WordPress is a great platform. It makes the crawling aspect really easy. There are now and then little odd picadillos within WordPress that Google or Bing might have a little problem with, but for the most part, if we're using WordPress, and most platforms these days are pretty friendly for the crawl. If you're building a unique JavaScript framework website, you might have some troubles, but that's not pretty typical, especially for small local businesses. The third piece, and notice that we're finally getting to the content aspect of SEO, right? Sometimes we start with keywords and content, but reality, the best content won't show up in the search engines unless Google can crawl it in the first place. So let's start with crawl and then move to content. And then once we get a grasp of how we want to speak to our customers on our website, then we got to talk about the last aspect of SEO called link building, or how do other websites consider our website the authority. And so these four elements make up a good SEO campaign. And we're going to talk about how Bing Webmaster Tools can help us with these four parts of SEO. So before we get that, the first thing we need to do is verify our website with Bing Webmaster Tools. I probably will make that mistake many times today because, anyway, it's really easy. Honestly, the easiest way to do it is to give Bing access to your Webmaster Tools account and verify all of your verified websites in Webmaster Tools. If you don't want to give Bing the keys to your Google stuff, you can do it on a website by website basis. It's pretty easy. I won't go into the details of this. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with it. I just went ahead and let Bing look at my Google sites in Search Console. I know that that's the cost of this tool. Ultimately, it's not really free. The cost is data. All right. So once we have the verification of our website, we get a ton of information. A lot of this information is going to be very, very similar to what Google Search Console does. You'll see, you can inspect by URLs, you can look at the sitemaps, it gives clicks, it gives impression data. It's a lot of the similar stuff. But what we're going to focus on today is what makes Bing Webmaster Tools different and really valuable. So let's start. So the first part of any marketing campaign digitally is measuring it. And I guess I should start by saying we're starting with one of the things Bing Webmaster Tools does most poorly is measuring. I kind of don't care about impressions and clicks in Bing. And, maybe that's a neglect on my part, but, 80 to 90% of my traffic comes from Google. So I'm not really too worried about the blip of traffic that might be Bing. I did know a guy doing SEO that really focused on Bing optimization. It was interesting because his audience was geriatric medical support products, walkers, wheelchairs, special seats for the shower. And his theory, and I think it was right, was that his customers typically don't know how to change their default browser outside of a Microsoft product. And so he just focused on Bing optimization. Okay, he could use the data to say, oh, wow, I get a larger proportion of traffic from Bing because of my audience. If that's the case, then this is going to be super helpful. But for the most part, I can see in Google Analytics how much traffic I'm getting from Bing, and it's small. So I'm not too worried about that. But Microsoft Clarity. I know Dave talked about this a little bit. Microsoft Clarity is an amazing product. I've used Hotjar before. Have you used Hotjar? It's basically like a heat map product that allows you to look at how people are interacting with your website. Microsoft Clarity does all that and more for free. Wow. incredible the amount of data you can get. You know how, especially if you're a designer, you know how frustrating it is when you watch people interact with your website. The button's right there. Can't you see it, you moron? Like, that's what Bing, Microsoft Clarity can do for you. Show you how people are interacting with your site. Boy, you know, this isn't an SEO optimization kind of, I just did one of my pet peeves. This isn't an SEO thing. This really helps you with conversion rate optimization. It really helps you see how people are interacting with your website. You know, it helps that kind of missing gap that is just so helpful that it's really worth just setting this up for free. It is super easy to set up too. So if you don't do anything, set this free tool up for you. Don't forget to mention this in your privacy settings on your disclosure, because you are watching people interact with your website. But ultimately, super duper, I highly recommend it. If that's the only thing you get from today's webinar, you're welcome. All right. So we're going to move on to the second aspect of a good SEO campaign. First of all, we want to measure everything we can. Second of all, we want to see and make sure our website can be crawled by Google. And we're going to do that using Bing Webmaster Tools, right? There are two different aspects to this within Bing Webmaster Tools that are really helpful. Those of you who've known me and heard me speak on SEO before know how much I love Screaming Frog, the SEO crawler. I love Screaming Frog. I use it all the time. Everybody should buy a copy of Screaming Frog. But if you don't want to spend $150 a year, you can really get a lot out of Bing Webmaster Tools. There's a couple of things that it's really great at. The SEO reports is going to kind of give you this idea that, hey, here's some like SEO technical optimization tips. You know, it shows you things that it considers like high severity, moderate severity, low severity issues, so you can kind of prioritize your items, how many pages it affects. And you kind of get an idea. Hey, you know, you forgot to put your H1 tag on a page. Okay, all right, that's pretty easy fix. Your meta description is missing. Okay, that's a pretty easy fix. Now, I might not agree with all of the severities that Bing gives. Like, I don't think it maybe the H1 tag is super important to Bing. I don't think it's that important to Google. But kind of like, why not? It's an easy opportunity. Like, just add it. You know, meta descriptions, at least on Google, are not ranking factors, but it's an opportunity to convince someone to click on your listing in the search results. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't call the missing meta description that Bing is pointing out here a high severity issue, but it is an easy opportunity to get a little bit more. Right. So just going in and getting these SEO reports is going to give you actionable items on a page by page basis that can help you get that a little bit more out of your optimization. There are some things that are pretty important. The title is missing from a page. Oh, stop everything and fix that. Right. The alt tag is missing. Maybe not the biggest deal, but in fact, you'll notice that on this little screenshot, it shows it's a low severity issue. Point is, you want some really opportunities to get a little bit more out of your website, go look at the Bing Webmaster Tools SEO reports. All right. But there's another feature within Bing Webmaster Tools, which is the site scan. You can see that this is my site. I haven't done this since January because the cobbler's kids got no shoes. But I really like running this report on every client every month. What this does is just kind of take a live snapshot of your website, and it will show you some of the same observations as the SEO reports, but it'll show it to you right now. And so it's kind of like using an install of Screaming Frog to catch a lot of the things that Screaming Frog will catch. Now, there's a ton more in Screaming Frog that I like to do that Bing Webmaster Tools doesn't do. It won't replace Screaming Frog for you, but it really will show you some great opportunities. Now, here's my little pitch here. I went through every one of the data points in Bing Webmaster Tools, the suggestions. And I went through each and said, hey, this is what they say the severity is, but this is kind of my opinion on the severity. Or here's how you fix this and that. So you can get access to this link on 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗀𝘀𝗆.com, the Bing SEO report recommendations. If you want to kind of go and say, hey, you know, Bing, this matters to Bing, but does Google care? Like, that's kind of what this page is. So hopefully this helps give you some, not a heart attack when Bing warned you, oh, high severity issue, you don't have the, yeah, okay, moving on. This kind of helps you walk through that. So anyway, I hope that helps. So here's kind of an underrated aspect to Bing Webmaster Tools, but I find super helpful. This is what they call the Site Explorer, and it helps you see your website in terms of the information architecture. And what I mean that is, you know, how is your site organized? What fits within what section? You remember, you know, I've been doing this for a while. You know, remember when we used to build websites and the site architecture was a little flat, right? Every page just was a sub page of the homepage, right? Well, hopefully we're not doing that, because I think that Google and maybe Bing, but who cares if Bing thinks it, we kind of reward sites for organizing things well. I'm not talking about like keywords in your URL. I'm talking about organizing your site and putting your stuff together. You know, are your services organized in categories where you have a category for all your services, and each service is a subcategory of that, right? Is your blog contained within a directory called blog, right? These are things that kind of not only help you manage your site better, but I'd even suggest Google may give you a little bit of a benefit from doing that. The Site Explorer will help double check your website, right? So you'll notice that here are some pages under the URL section in the center that are subpages of the home page. The privacy policy is a subpage of the home. These are the pages that make sense that it would be right off the home page. But if you click on the domain name, it'll show you your site organization. It will also show you within that particular organization how many of those pages are indexed. Are there warnings that Bing Webmaster Tools is identifying? Are any pages excluded from Bing, right? If you're using Search Console, Google's product, these terminologies might be familiar to you. But what I really like about Bing is it helps you see it from a site structure perspective. It's fun to go, maybe not fun. It's interesting to go through your website in this way and to see how the search engines see your site being organized. It's interesting to see what you might uncover crawling through your own website this way, right? That's why it's valuable. Now, moving on within the crawl section of what we're talking about, maybe you've heard of this product. This is a product called Index Now. This is a joint venture of several search engines to help the search engines index the content of your website more quickly. Bing uses it. Google says they don't. The official word from Google is, we're experimenting with Index Now. I'm not a big fan of like, what's the super secret next step for SEO? Like I don't chase the trends, and I just want to do good marketing. And by doing good marketing, we do good SEO. But if it's as easy as getting the search engines more quickly to your content by using the Index Now system, why not? It's easy. I don't, you know, there may be people trying to game it. Really, like, are we really trying to trick the search engines? Like, can we get over ourselves for a moment? We're not that smart. The point is, Index Now just helps these search engines get to your site faster. WordPress has a really nice little plugin that basically every time you publish your site, it uses index now to inform the search engines that page has been updated. It's kind of like Pingdom was if you've used WordPress for a while, right? WordPress, nobody kind of uses Pingdom. I think WordPress still pings Pingdom for some reason, but it doesn't really do anything. But Index Now is where it's at. It's just a plugin. Might as well install it, send it in. Cloudflare, if you're using Cloudflare for your CDN, great. Just do that. Skip the plugin, right? Why do we need to add one more plugin to our website? Or if you're not using WordPress, use Cloudflare to inform the search engines this page has been updated. It's just an easy way to get the crawler to your website quickly so they can determine. Now, there's no guarantee that just because you've told the search engines the page exists that Google or Bing's going to care. But if you're doing quality content, you're taking the time to build a good website, at least let them know something's changed. This is especially important with new websites or small websites that the crawler doesn't get to very often. If you've got a big enterprise level site, the crawler's coming to you more than once a day, right? But if you're a small business or you have a client that's a small business, it's not every day that the crawler even comes. Use Index Now to help expedite that. All right, moving on. We want to measure. We'll make sure the search engines can crawl our site. We've seen all that Bing Webmaster Tools can do to help us. Now we're getting to content. Now, because now we want to do content for SEO, and by that we really mean speak our customers' language, right? I know that we want to figure out, well, how many times do I put the keyword on the page, or what's my keyword density? Blah, no. Like speak to your customers in a natural way, in terms of things that they were looking for, so that they can find you, right? That's what we're trying to do with good content. Now, how do our customers search for the products we offer? Well, Bing Webmaster Tools, see what I did there? I keep confusing the products. Bing Webmaster Tools has an entire keyword research product, which is super helpful. What I really like about this is that I love putting data behind the potential keywords for which my customers might be searching. This is really important, especially when we're working with clients or ourselves when we're very specialized in what we do. I think you've all kind of experienced this working with clients where they use internal nomenclature or industry jargon to describe their products and services. But the customers aren't informed yet enough to search for that. So sometimes people will try to optimize for things that nobody's searching for. What good is it to rank for a phrase that no one's looking for? This will at least show you some data points with which you can determine more people search for your product or service in this way than that way. And so this data comes from Bing searches. Okay, why do I care how many people search for that on Bing? I want the Google traffic. Well, it's not so much important how many people are searching for this phrase on Bing. It's that if more people search for this phrase than that phrase on Bing, odds are more people search for this phrase than that phrase on Google too. And so we're using this keyword data to help us compare different phrases so we know what people are more likely to search for than another. Always, when doing your keyword research, put numbered data behind it. Now, I like to use the Google AdWords keyword planner tool to do that. That's my favorite tool, but you have to have a paid AdWords account to really use it to its full extent. And not everybody does pay AdWords. I'm sorry, it's not even AdWords anymore. I'm so old school. It's Google Ads. If you can't do that, you can use Google Trends for data for your keywords. It's a great free tool. The numbers mean something very different, but the point is to compare. Can't do that. Here you go. Here's a free keyword research tool for you in Bing Webmaster Tools. So like, here's the information we get. If we wanted to rank for SEO company, we can type that phrase in there, get the details. Here we go. Look at the data we're getting. Okay, so between July and October, there were 1,200 different searches for the word SEO company. 637 of those were the United States. We can kind of parse this data a little bit more. We scroll down the page. I love this. Related keywords, right? Remember, the search engines are more sophisticated these days. They don't think about a page in terms of a word. They think about a page in terms of a topic. And so it would be really weird if your page about SEO companies didn't include some of these related keywords, right? In fact, you might say these might be almost synonyms of the one keyword that we searched for. And we start to see information, we start to see trends. So with the search phrase, let me go back a phrase, SEO company is where we started, but you'll notice SEO marketing company has pretty significant amount of searches or impressions, I should say, in Bing. I like the graph too. Like, is this trending up or down? Isn't that interesting? One of my secrets on SEO, secret SEO, I love making sure on my pages, I'm asking questions in my subheadings and in answering those underneath. This is a great way to make sure you have enough content on your pages, especially your landing pages. Bing suggesting question keywords that people are asking about the topic that you've given them. Maybe you can ask and answer some of those questions on your page too. Newly discovered, right? What's new? What's coming? These are great opportunities to think about what are some related blog posts about which I could write for my website that are related to this topic. You know, we SEOs are kind of the worst. We just keep writing more content sometimes. It's tough to think about, oh my God, how are we going to write something new about this topic? Well, there you go. Look at the newly discovered under the keyword planner here for Bing Webmaster Tools and get some blog post ideas. Don't forget, build that internal link from your blog post to your landing page for that internal link value. But what a great resource. If we scroll down, Bing gives us the top pages ranking for that phrase. I hate rank as a metric for SEO. I think it really hurts people when they approach SEO when it's all about rank. I think what it ends up doing is people miss huge opportunities because they become obsessed about their position. In reality, there's not an objective place where anybody can rank because of all the variables that go behind this. But it's still helpful to kind of get an idea. There's a couple reasons why this ranking in the keyword research process is helpful. Number one, is this really relevant to me and my product? Oftentimes clients will come, I want to rank for this keyword. You can put it in this tool and see, are your competitors showing up for that? But why that is important, it's not that your competitors necessarily got it right. It's what does the search engines think this phrase is about? And so here we can look and see, oh, SEO companies, so these are kind of competitors. So this might be a phrase for which I would like to rank. But if we found a bunch of searches which were more irrelevant to what we offer, I have a client that does stacks. What they mean by stacks are industrial stacks for like industrial plants. But when most people search for the word stack, they mean like a stack on their pickup truck. If we did a search for stacks and it was all pickup accessories, we know we're hitting the wrong keyword, right? So that's why this is helpful. We're going to skip ahead for a second and talk about link building. You want to know who your competitors are to look for some link building opportunities? There you go. There's some competitors against which you're competing, at least on Bing. So this is really valuable. Again, I don't really care if I rank better on Bing or not. If I do, fine. But if I do, I'm probably not going to get that much traffic or customers from it. But this is still valuable information to have. So moving on. We start every digital marketing campaign by measuring it. We want to make sure the search engines can crawl it so we can do our SEO and write our content. And then last, we want to build links from our website to another, right? This is where Google determines who is the true expert in the field. The votes come in based on how many links from credible websites we get. This is the hardest part of a good SEO campaign. It's hard to do for several reasons. Number one, they're so tempted to go to just build a link to call the link to try to do SEO. We're trying to trick Google through our links. Don't do that. This is how we get banned by Google. Actually, nowadays, it's actually worse. You won't get banned. You're just wasting your time because Google's going to ignore most of those links. So you're wasting your time and money trying to trick Google. So how can we do link building? I wonder if Bing Webmaster Tools has something for us. Oh my gosh, they do. Oh no. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is like hidden deep in the current search console for Google. But let me tell you how amazing this is, right? Okay, so this is currently the backlinks to our site and backlink count by the domain. Okay, so apparently Microsoft.com is linking to Reliable Acorn 749 times. Wow, impressive. Ooh, actually, it's not that impressive, but anyway, we'll go there. WordCamp, because I do a lot of speaking, is one of my top referring domains. Couple others in there, right? Okay, cool. So domains linking to me. Which pages get the link? So one of the things with SEO and link building is that we don't want to just link to our homepage, right? We need links to individual interior pages. So do we have any links? Do we have any links that are credible? That's a factor in our ability to be found by the search engine. So we can look at what pages tend to get links. This could help us show us, I don't have any links to this page. How can I get some, right? Maybe it shows us, I have an unusual number of links to a particular page, and maybe we should worry about that, right? Because not only do we need links to our site, we need links to individual pages. And Bing can tell us. What I like about using Bing for this is, again, I don't really care about ranking on Bing, but this is their index of the entire internet. So this is a pretty comprehensive set of data. Google hides this. It's number one under the SEO tab in Bing Webmaster Tools. Thank you so much. But more than that, right? Anchor text is another factor that make links valuable. It's not just that you got links to your website. It's that those links go into interior pages, and the clickable text matters as far as SEO. So if you want to know where your clickable links are, or what your phrases are used, this will give you an idea. Notice there's a download all button. Excel wizards can do a lot with this information. What's exciting about this is that you have to spend a ton of money on a really expensive backlink tool to get this kind of data. But Bing is giving it away for free. Now, I'm a big fan. My backlink tool du jour is Majestic. I like Majestic a lot, but it's not as comprehensive as that. But if you're just getting started, or you have a small budget, this is a great set of data to work with and play with. But here is the best part. This is what makes it stand out. Backlinks, you see in the middle, bolded, backlinks to any site. I can not only look at links to my site, but it can add a site and compare to see where they're getting their links. Let me show you an example. My buddy owns Cashmere Interactive. We're friends and competitors at the same time. How does Corey get all those links? Bing will tell me. This is where it's fun, because now I can go in and say, Corey, I could get your links too. In fact, I can get better links than the links you got, because I can see where you're getting your links. So I can go through Corey's links and say, I don't want that crap. And I can go, ooh, here's a good one. I can get that link too. Ooh, here's one. I can get a better link than that. And that is really cool. This is something that you really have to pay for a link building tool typically to get. Competitor. Normally, Search Console in Google's product will only show you links to your own site. Bing is showing you other websites. So remember a couple of slides ago, we talked about the search results under the keyword planner tool. What if you threw these websites in and see where they're getting their links? Now we can get a comparison with our competitors and see where they're getting their links and do what we call a competitive research process, where we're going through, hey, you got links, I bet you I can get them too. In fact, I'm not just going to take all of your links, I'm going to get the best you have and then one up it and do a little bit better, right? For instance, Sneaky Corey is getting links from all its clients. Oh, that's sneaky, Corey. You're outed. Google says those should be no followed. Interesting. So are those even counting? Interesting. But point is, you can spy on your competitors and get their links. That is what one of the best features within Bing Webmaster Tools. So that is what we're talking about here. This is all documented in Curious Ants. Curious Ants is kind of a group where we get together to work through an SEO plan with you. So the idea here is I've got all these processes that I've been using for the last 14 years for my clients, and I'm sharing them with the members of Curious Ants. So you too can kind of follow the same processes and learn how to do SEO, learn how to provide it for it as a service, or do it for your own website, follow the processes. Certain members get access to a weekly office hours where we talk about their particular SEO problems or things like that. That is every Wednesday, this afternoon, actually. And so I'm just inviting you to at least sign up for a free account. That will show you how to do keyword research, which is kind of the starting point of any good SEO campaign. You can test it out, see how the keyword research process works. And if you'd like, you can join us for the full access. Anyway, that's Curious Ants. That's Bing Webmaster Tools, the best free tool you're not using. And maybe we have some time for questions.
Yes, definitely. Wow, David. I was taking notes and I'm still taking notes. I like that the best free tool you're not using. That's really good. And yes, Alexa uses Bing search engine. So
right.
So definitely. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so do you guys have questions for David while he's here? Because I mean, this one I really was taking notes frantically, and I'm excited to start using it.
Hey, Karen, what do you want? What you got?
You know, I have a ton of questions, but I'll just ask you. And one of them is that I have Clarity turned on for one of my main sites, and I had somebody, a speed optimization person, look at it, one of this site, because I was not being, it wasn't, there was a time when it dipped, and he was saying it was the Clarity. So I've deactivated that. So I'm wondering, experience with that.
So two things. When we're talking about speed for SEO, we have to remember speed is an oversimplification of the issue. Google is looking at the 3 web core vitals. not load times for a SEO ranking factor. And so focus on the web core vitals, and we SEOs have a hard time communicating with developers sometimes, and so things get lost. And we look at speed and we're like, oh, clarity is dragging us down. Therefore, we got to take off clarity. I know how many people have told me, well, David, it's that damn Google Tag Manager. If you stop using that tag manager, we'd have fast website. Okay, stop blaming Google products for your crappy website. So just remember, this might not be as big of a deal. Second, with Microsoft Clarity, this is a pretty intensive tool, right? It is watching people interact with the website. It won't affect your web core vitals, but it might not be something you want running constantly and all the time, right? So as a best case practice for a conversion rate optimization, you probably would want to consider a hypothesis. I wonder if we change the call to action button to red rather than orange, will this improve? Then run Microsoft Clarity and see, right? So turn it on and off as necessary to collect the data. It's not something that's necessarily helpful to keep running perpetually, because if you're not looking at it, then what good is it? Because even if Microsoft Clarity might not affect the web core vitals, it still might make things run slower for users, and that might be frustrating. So that's what I would suggest about clarity and speed.
Thank you for that. That's a great answer.
Yeah, I love that.
Can I just ask
Andy,
I can wait.
I was just going to say, Andy was saying that we need to delve deeper into Microsoft Clarity. So we definitely will do that in a future meetup. Yeah,
Cool.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was just wondering if you like Ahrefs.
Yeah.
I think it does a pretty good job. It doesn't show as much as Screaming Frog, but it shows a lot, and their free version.
Right. So I'm just a big fan of not investing in tools too much. I like Ahrefs for the backlink opportunities, and I think the interface is great, but I'm probably going to always have a copy of Screaming Frog because I love the raw data aspect of being able to play with that rather than have to rely on a tool to tell me what it thinks is a problem. That's the advantage of a tool like Screaming Frog that I like better. But I'm a raw data kind of guy. That's why I like Majestic as my backlink tool. The interface is not attractive, but the data is really good. So I am actually planning on ditching Majestic when my Majestic contract is up in February and moving to Ahrefs. But I'm kind of not. I kind of don't care about their crawler for Ahrefs. I'd rather use Screaming. I'll keep using Screaming Frog.
Got it. Okay. And by the way, I have a Google Ads account that I've had for years and years, and it's a free account. I can use the keyword research if anybody else. I'm not sure if it's grandfathered in or but
yeah, they will give you range data. Like this phrase, you'll get a range.
Yeah, you don't get all the data, but
Right,
I do get
right.
some really good data.
Yeah,
from it.
yeah.
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. No, I use it. To me, it takes a little Excel magic to kind of parse their range data so I can get an actual number. That's what I want. I want a number.
Yeah. Now I think it's. Yeah, I think they do give. I can't remember. They keep changing.
The last I've seen, because I have a paid account, I get real numbers. But last I saw on the free, it was like this phrase ranges between 1,000 and 3,000 searches a month.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well now I can do some Excel and kind of figure out stuff, but it's annoying. But yeah, that's fine.
And the other question I have some more, but I won't take up all the time. So in terms of citations, do you believe in citations for backlinks? Like I know someone else that just recommended that I do that. So I reached out to, I think it's Bright Local, and they're doing some citation builder, but it seems like such bogus links. So I don't, and I've done some in the past.
So yeah. We have to understand what makes a backlink, right? not all backlinks count from a ranking perspective from Google, right? So a backlink from a page is only as good as the authority from that page. So
Exactly.
some of these citation sites really make it hard to get to the page to even give that page authority. So even if the link is followable, which not all the citation sites have followable links, the page authority by the time Google finds your page on that website is so minuscule. So I won't hesitate to do citations. There's a lot of advantages to citations, but I wouldn't rely on that only as my only link building activity.
Right.
Right.
But you would do it.
But Trisha, yeah, I do it.
I
And
wanna-
I've used Trisha to help me do it.
Yeah, I want to add to that a little bit. So I think that I've used Bright Local as well for some citations, but I definitely don't recommend where you're just adding, hundreds of them just to add citations. I would recommend doing just like some of the top ones you're familiar with. And when you're doing citations and ordering them, don't connect your Google. You have access to your Google business profile. Do that yourself. The same with Bing. But you definitely want things on like top things that you're familiar with, your Google, Bing, your Yelp, your Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce. Make sure all those information are correct. And then from there, if there are other local citations, if you're a member of a local business organization or association, make sure they've got your correct information on their page. But all the other thing about citations, and Bright Local does this well, is they give you ownership over your citation. Definitely don't go with a company that basically takes it over and owns it. And if you have an update, you have to pay them to update it. Bright Local does it right. So that's good that you're using them. But I would say don't pay hundreds every month to keep up with those citations. That's kind of like a old SEO that's no longer really valuable. Use that money someplace else. But getting the good main citations is good. Having that correct information is good. Just the things that, like, if you see a citation, you've never heard of the company before, look at it. And if it's just a citation not many people know of, it's not going to help you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll let somebody else.
Let's see, anyone else have any questions? Because if not, I have a question. Okay, so just pop on and let us know your questions. So David, when I was in here looking, and like over at the top left, we've got reliable acorn. So I logged into used my Google account that's connected in Google Search Console. But then it only gave me like 2 different URLs to look at, and I've got a lot more in that Google account. So
Yeah. You have
does
to
that
add
mean-
each site individually once you give it
Okay.
access to your Search Console.
Okay, I guess I had not. I just logged in. Since you were talking, I wanted to
Yeah.
pay attention.
I don't want to
that, so-
open this little thing because it will show all
You know,
my
that's
clients.
okay. Yeah, no,
But
that's
if
okay.
you click on that, you add a site, and if it's already verified in Search Console, you just confirm with Bing again
Oh,
that it's,
perfect.
and you got access.
Okay, awesome. That's perfect. Okay. So basically, if I have access to a client's Google Search Console, then I can add it here and automatically without getting the client to do anything. Is that
Right.
right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if you use Yoast and stuff like that, you can add the meta tag easy enough too, if you don't want to give Bing your Google data, but
Yeah.
whatever,
Okay.
small price to
Okay.
pay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Let's say, yeah, Dave, good seeing you. So I will say, does anyone have any other questions, just let us know.
Do you if nobody
Let's
else
see.
does?
Please, Karen, go
Yeah,
ahead.
one thing
Oh,
is
sorry.
that Andy mentioned that he would use Bright Local for citations because it saves time. And it's worth it. I definitely agree. Bright Local is good for saving time on some of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a general question. Over the years, I have reached out, looked at competitors' backlinks, and then reached out, even if it's an association like National Association website, and I have not gotten, I just wonder if you have tricks. I mean, to say like, oh, we'll write an article for you, or can we submit a house for you because I have a custom home builder. I rarely get positive, like any kind of feedback ever.
Yeah. Well, so
Wonder if you
within
have tricks.
within Curious Ants, we have several link building strategies that we employ. Like one is the competitor, looking at our competitors, and what we're doing with that, or what I call branded link building, which is kind of the same thing but for yourself, is kind of looking at every list as this thing of opportunities, because we gotta have to ask ourselves, Google's guideline says we cannot pay for links, full stop, right? We can't trade links, full stop. There's all kinds of other things. Before you get into link building, please review Google's rules to link building. But that being said, when we're doing link building, there has to be a reason for someone to build a link to us, right? There has to be a reason. We have to find a reason. Now, there's any number of reasons, right? Number one is norm of reciprocity. Hey, I'll do this for you if you do that for me, right? That's a universal norm. Now, maybe that's, hey, I'll write an article for your blog. It will be unique to your blog. And I'm going to add a link back to my site. This is just called guest blogging. But it's kind of, even though we're not paying, we're still giving something. We're giving something of value. Is this against Google's rules? We're getting close. But there's no reason someone would do that for us if not, right? So we do have to give something. Now, maybe we can argue in other cases, it would benefit them to link to us, right? One of the great things with, hey, you mention our company, thank you so much. I think it would help your users learn more about the company you mentioned if you could create a link. That's actually a pretty effective way of doing link building. It is limited, but I'm surprised simply asking how much simply asking works. But the point is that link building is hard. The good news is we don't really need as many links as we used to. Back in 10 years ago, we used to say a link is a link is a link. Like, I'll take a link wherever the heck I can get it because I got to have more links. And then Google's shifted their algorithm and it penalized major websites. A couple of my clients too, I'll admit, because we were trying to manufacture links. Nowadays, that's baked in the algorithm. So Google pretty much ignores links that it thinks shouldn't count. So we don't have to worry as much about getting banned by Google. It's mostly that Google's going to ignore these. But we still, to be a full SEO campaign, have to think about building links. So we still have to find ways to get links, and we still have to figure out what's in it for them to link to us. And that is the hardest part of link building. What would benefit them? Why on earth would they take time out of their busy schedule to do something that ultimately benefit me? And if we can answer that question, we can get links.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the beginning of any link building strategy. Why would anybody link to me? And if you don't have an answer to the question, you're going to have to resort to crappy, spammy, automated link building.
Right.
But the good news is you don't really need 100 links to a page. You just get a couple. And so if working with that, that's kind of the best link building advice I can give you. And so once you have that answer, then you can start approaching the link building process and say, okay, here we go. I have an idea of why someone would want to link to this page. Now I just need to go pursue that. And then you just got to do the hard work of taking the time to do it.
Right.
Yeah. I want to say, Andy had mentioned in the comments, quality over quantity nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, way back when SEO first started, it was just, you know, get as much as you can. Now you're looking at quality over quantity. One thing I want to add, which is more on a for your local businesses, I would say also to look and see if there are any like local small magazines, like if you've got a local thing that they're always looking for content, and to go out and reach out to them and say, oh, or, do you need an article? This is what we do. We're a local business. And that is, even though it's something that some people might say, well, you know, it might not help you. I think it will for local businesses, definitely. Getting that link in that small local community magazine is definitely going to help your business.
Right, which is the I'm giving you something.
Yeah.
So that
yeah,
yeah,
because a lot of times they're looking for content, you know, what can we do this month? And especially if you've got something that's maybe seasonal that you can talk about that's coming up, and you can approach them and say, you know, this is what we do. We'd love to write a letter because your viewers would or your readers would find an interest in this. You know, if you do gutter cleanings, and in the fall and spring especially, you want to talk about the damage it could cause by not doing it properly, and what you need to look for in a contractor, things like that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Trish.
it's hard. Link building is really hard.
Yeah.
And also, David, I'm wondering what you think of Google's new algorithm update about content. And some people are saying, like, we don't need keywords anymore, and just write content for the user and don't worry about it. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole SEO is dead thing. It's just rephrased as another thing. Google has moved away from specific keywords a long time ago. They're thinking topically. And you know, if you're taking time to write quality about a topic, you're going to do great. Now, I always want to keep an eye on what are the specific phrases customers might be using to talk about that topic, and try to include those in the pages, just so I have it literally in there, and it's not Google trying to pick up a drift and trying to catch my intent. But Google is much better at catching intent than it used to be. You know, when I started SEO, and I had a law firm client, you know, we built a page for law firm, lawyer, attorney, and lawsuit, right? 4 pages per practice area, you know, probate, criminal, civil, like, and so we'd have 12 million pages on their website because of all the keyword variations. Like, Google is much smarter than that these days. Like, they know a lawyer is an attorney. And it would be weird for you not to mention lawsuit on a page about a lawyer. So Google will serve one page in response to all those queries. And so, but we still need to understand, how do our customers refer to this? In the United States, no one will talk about a lawyer in terms of a barrister, right? But if we're in England, we better talk about barristers, right? And so we got to pay attention to the keywords that people are using, but we just don't so focus that we only mention the word lawyer on the page 27 million times, right? We gotta vary it. And that's about finding a quality writer who could take those fuzzy directions and write the content in light of all the variations of possible keywords that someone could reach a particular page.
The keyword in the H1 and H2 and all that anymore?
I mean, I do because I've always take the higher end of being descriptive and helpful in those, right? You know, I'll use variations of that because I want the H1 or the H2s on the page to include a variation of the keyword. But I don't want it to just be keyword, 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 keyword down the page, right? And so it's an art. This is the art of SEO, where we're putting the keywords in the H tags, but we're not just vomiting keywords on a page and hoping Google sorts it out. Like, let's almost, it kind of goes to the Bible. I've quoted the Bible many times, right? So this is the definitive book on usability, right? And as much about usability as this is a great SEO book, because he points out that people want to see the words that they're searching for on the page. I know we like to put a lot of images on pages, but people feel better if they land on a page and they see the word that they were looking for. So this is kind of the convergence of SEO and usability. If we're doing our customers a justice to reassure them that on a page about lawnmowers, they've landed on the proper lawnmower page. It's not about lawnmower repair. It's not about lawnmower trick out. It's about selling lawnmowers. And if you see that on the page, you're going to be like, oh, thank goodness I found the right page. So we've done SEO, buy your lawnmowers here, but we've also helped the users be like, oh, good, I'm on the right page. It's not just an informational page about the history of lawnmowers or something stupid like that. So this is this art part of SEO.
Yeah, thanks, David. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Great questions.
Thank you so much, David. We are out of time, but thank you so much for joining. This was a fantastic. I've really gotten a lot out of it. Want to make sure I put in the comments the link. It's curiousance.com/ATL SEO. Make sure you go there. You can sign up for free access to the first part of Curious Ants, and that's I think the keyword research part. But if you go to that link, sign up for that. See if you're want to join Curious Ants, because I'm in there and it's great. I love all our weekly chats. So definitely enjoy that. Thank you so much for joining us. And next month, it's going to be November 9th. We're working on a topic and I'll have that soon. So check out our YouTube for this video and others that are posted there, and also for Meetup for when our next topics is going to be. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining, and we'll see you next month.